This is worse than I imagined.
What does it say?
We need to talk to them.
I'm here with you.
She gave him 7 years of her life. She worked 3 jobs to put him through school. She waited. She believed. She sacrificed everything. And the morning after his graduation, he married someone else. Adana was 22 years old, selling roasted corn by the roadside outside the village church, laughing with customers, her hands quick and sure. She had a brightness about her that poverty hadn't managed to dim. That was the day Chuka walked up to her stall. 23 years old, rail-thin, eyes burning with ambition too large for their small village. "You always this cheerful selling corn?" he asked. She looked at him sideways. "You always this bold talking to strangers?" He laughed. She laughed. And just like that, something began. For months, they were inseparable. He told her his dreams in the dark after church meetings. She told him hers. He wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to study business, open a shop, build something with her own hands. Their dreams were different, but they rhymed beautifully. Then one evening, Chuka came to her with trembling hands and a letter. "I got in, Ada. I got into medical school." She screamed with joy. The whole village would celebrate tonight. Then he told her the cost. 250,000 naira. Per year. For 8 years. His voice cracked. "My whole family doesn't have that total." The celebration went quiet. That night, Adana didn't sleep. She lay in the dark and did the math over and over, and every time she reached the same answer. There was only one way. "I'll help you," she told him the next morning. He stared at her. "Ada, how? We have nothing. I'll work. 3 jobs if I have to. I'll send you money every month. You focus on becoming a doctor. And your own dreams? Your education." She took his hands. "Look at me. Promise me. The day you graduate, you come back and marry me. Promise me that." Chuka's eyes filled with tears. "Ada, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm choosing." She squeezed his hands tighter. "When you're a doctor, we'll build everything we ever dreamed of. Together. I'm not giving up my dream. I'm just investing it in us." He pulled her close. "I promise you, Ada. I swear on everything I have. The day I graduate, I marry you. I will never forget what you're doing. Never." They held each other and prayed. 2 young people who believed that love was enough to survive 8 years of distance. They were wrong about the distance. They had no idea how far apart they would grow. Chuka left. Adana got to work. For in the morning, she was already awake. Housemaid for a wealthy family. Cooking, cleaning, caring for their children like they were her own. By 2 in the afternoon, she ran to the market and sold vegetables from a wooden stall until the sun went down. 3 nights a week, she sat alone in the dark as a night security guard at a small shop, staying awake until dawn to protect someone else's property. She shared one room with 5 other women. She ate once a day, Gary and groundnuts mostly. She wore the same 3 dresses, washed and rotated until the fabric thinned. Every single kobo she saved, she put in an envelope. At the end of each month, she walked to the money transfer office and sent 70% of everything she had earned to Chuka. The receipt was the most important paper she owned. At night, exhausted in ways she couldn't describe, she opened her small notebook and wrote, "Year 1 of 8 complete. 7 more years. Then Dr. Chuka and Mrs. Adana, forever and ever." She drew wedding dress sketches in the margins. She listed names for their future children. She calculated how many months remained. Her roommate watched her with worried eyes. "Ada, you're destroying yourself for a man far away. What if he doesn't come back?" Adana smiled with total confidence. "He will. We love each other. This is our dream, not just his." She believed it completely. She had no reason not to. A quiet businessman came to her vegetable stall every Saturday. His name was Emeka. Mid-30s, kind-faced, never in a hurry. He noticed everything. Her exhaustion, her calloused hands, the shadows beneath her eyes that deepened with each passing year. One Saturday, he asked her why she worked so hard. Adana's whole face lit up. "I'm putting my boyfriend through medical school. He's going to be a doctor." Emeka was quiet for a moment. "He's a very lucky man. I hope he knows that." "He does," she said. "He promises to marry me the day he graduates. Just 7 more years." Emeka nodded slowly. His eyes held a sadness Adana didn't understand. He had seen this story before. He knew how it usually ended. But he said nothing. Some lessons people have to learn themselves. The calls changed. By year 5, conversations that used to last an hour barely reached 15 minutes. "Chuka, I miss you. I miss you too, Ada, but I really have to study. Can we talk later? Later never came. Year 6, he forgot her birthday. Called 3 days late. Medical school is insane, Ada. You understand, right? She always understood. She always forgave. She sent him a birthday gift. A nice watch that cost her a full week of meals. He replied with a single text. Thanks. No call. No video. Just thanks. During her year 4 visit, the 14-hour bus ride, because she still couldn't afford the flight, she noticed something she filed away and refused to examine. When Chuka's classmates saw them together, he introduced her as, "This is Adana. She's from my village. Not my girlfriend. Not my future wife. Just from my village." She made excuses in her mind. He's stressed. He's trying to fit in. He still loves me. He says so every time we talk. She didn't let herself look too closely at what she had seen. Year 7. Chuka met Florence. She was 28, at the hospital for a minor cosmetic procedure her wealthy family paid for without blinking. Chuka was doing his rotations. She was beautiful and polished, and she smelled like money. "You're very good at this," she told him, her voice smooth and deliberate. He should have said he had a girlfriend who had worked 3 jobs for 7 years to put him through that school. Instead, he said thank you. Coffee became dinners. Dinners became weekends. Florence introduced him to her world: expensive restaurants, gallery openings, a family mansion with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. He let her believe he was self-made. He never mentioned Adana. Not once. Florence's father called him aside after dinner one evening. "Chuka, I want you to marry my daughter. I'll set you up with your own clinic, brand new, fully staffed prime location. All paid for. All you have to do is say yes." That night, alone in his small rented room, Chuka thought about Adana. Then he thought about the clinic, the mansion, the life. He looked at himself in the mirror and told himself he wasn't that poor village boy anymore. He told himself he deserved someone who matched who he had become. He convinced himself his betrayal was practically an act of kindness. The next morning he called Florence. "I accept." Graduation day arrived. Adana tried calling 20 times. Every call went to voicemail. She told herself he was celebrating with classmates. He would call tonight. Then they would plan the wedding. He didn't call that night. Or the next. Or the next. 2 weeks after graduation, Chuka and Florence had a private engagement ceremony. 1 month after graduation, Dr. Chuka Woody married Florence in the wedding of the season. 600 guests. Live band. Champagne fountains. Florence wore a dress that cost more than Adana had earned in 8 years. 3 days after the wedding, Adana's friend Chioma called. "Ada, are you sitting down?" The screenshot came through. Dr. Chuka Woody weds Florence. Photos of Chuka in a wedding suit, kissing a woman in white. Date, 3 days ago. Adana called his old number. Disconnected. She called the hospital, her voice shaking so badly she could barely form words. "I'm sorry," said the voice on the other end. "Dr. Chuka is on his honeymoon. He'll be back in 2 weeks. Can I take a message?" Honeymoon. She collapsed on the floor. 8 years. 3 jobs. Every sacrifice. Every promise. Every "I love you, Ada. Just wait for me. I'll marry you the day I graduate." All of it. Every single word. Lies. 1 week later, she finally reached him. Dr. Chuka speaking. That voice. Ice through her veins. "Chuka. It's me." Silence. Then cold and distant, like she was a stranger. "Adana. Why? Please just tell me why. I moved on. You should too. 8 years, Chuka. I worked 3 jobs. I sent you money I didn't even have. I waited. I gave up my own education. I gave you everything. I didn't ask you to do that." Those 6 words. She felt something inside her go completely silent. "You promised to marry me. We were kids when we said those things. I'm a different person now. I need someone who fits my life. And what about everything I gave up? My education. My opportunities. 8 years of my life. Adana, I'm sorry you feel that way. But my wife is calling. I have to go." He hung up. She threw her phone across the room. She heard it shatter against the wall. She collapsed to the floor, her body heaving with sobs that seemed to tear her apart from the inside. "I have nothing," she screamed to her empty room. 8 years gone. I could have gone to school. I could have started a business. I could have built my own life. And I threw it all away for him. That night, in her darkest moment, she whispered to no one. "What's the point? I'm 30 years old with nothing." Emeka came every day. He didn't try to fix anything. He didn't offer speeches or solutions. He just sat with her in the darkness, brought food, and stayed until she ate. After 2 weeks, he finally spoke quietly. What Chuka did was wrong. It was cruel. He used your love as a ladder and kicked you off the moment he reached the top. He stole 8 years of your life. You have every right to be broken right now. He paused. But Adana, you are 30, not 80. And the woman who worked 3 jobs simultaneously for 8 years is still sitting right here. That strength didn't leave when he did. He told her about his import business. He told her he needed a branch manager, someone honest, hardworking, dedicated. Someone exactly like her. He would pay her fairly and sponsor her through night school, so she could finish her degree. Not out of pity, he said. Because he saw her value. Something Chuka had been too small to see. She looked in the cracked mirror across the room. Broken. Lost. Empty. But somewhere beneath the brokenness, something stirred. A tiny spark. I can stay broken, she thought. Or I can rebuild. Not for him. For me. Okay, she said quietly. I'll try. The first months were agony. She worked while still heartbroken, still crying herself to sleep most nights. But having purpose, having work that was building her own future instead of someone else's, slowly began to heal something deep inside her. Month 2, she laughed at a colleague's joke. The first real laugh in 60 days. Month 3, she went a whole day without crying. Month 5, her first full paycheck that belonged entirely to her. She stared at it and wept, but this time from relief. Month 6, she looked in the mirror and saw someone new. Not the girl who had waited. Someone stronger. 1 year after the worst day of her life, Adana stood in her office holding her business degree certificate. She had graduated top of her class. The company's revenue had doubled under her management. She had savings, real savings, for the first time. And she had something even more valuable. She had herself back. One evening, Emeka asked her to stay behind after work. His voice was nervous in a way she had never heard before. Adana, I've loved you since the day I met you at that market stall. But you belonged to someone else, so I stayed quiet. I watched you sacrifice everything for a man who didn't deserve you. He met her eyes. I'm not asking you to love me back right now. I just need you to know that you deserve to be someone's first choice. Not a backup plan. Not a consolation. Someone's first choice every single day. And when you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'm here. For 8 years, she had begged for Chuka's attention. For Emeka, she had done nothing but exist. And he had chosen her every single day without saying a word. Something shifted in her heart that she hadn't felt in a very long time. I'm still healing, she told him honestly. I don't know if I can love anyone properly yet. I know, he said gently. I'm not asking you to rush. I'm just asking you to know that I see all of you, and I choose you. It was the first time in her life someone had chosen her without conditions. Without a transaction attached. 2 years after the betrayal, her phone rang. Unknown number. Something made her answer. Ada. It's me. It's Chuka. Florence had left him. The clinic had been taken back by her family. His reputation was damaged. He was alone. I made the worst mistake of my life. I lost everything. And I realized I lost you, the only person who ever truly loved me. Ada, please. Can we start over? Adana was quiet for a long moment. Then, calmly and clearly, she spoke. You didn't make a mistake, Chuka. You made a choice. You chose wealth over loyalty. You chose status over love. You knew exactly what I had sacrificed for you, and you chose Florence anyway. Now that your choice has consequences, you want to come back. No. Ada, please. I love you. I never stopped. You never loved me. You loved what I gave you. My money. My support. My blind devotion. And when you had nothing left to take, you threw me away. That is not love. That is use. She paused, and her voice softened, not with grief, but with something that had taken 2 full years to grow. I forgive you, Chuka. Not for you. For me. So I can close this chapter and never look back. Forgiveness doesn't mean I'm coming back. It just means I'm done letting what you did control my life. Goodbye. She hung up. Her hands were shaking. But not from pain. From power. From closure. 6 months later, Adana married Emeka. A simple ceremony. People who genuinely loved them. She wore a dress she bought with her own money from her own job. She walked down the aisle as a successful, educated, independent woman. And as herself. 3 years later, she owns her own import business. She and Emeka have 2 children. She mentors young women and tells them her story without shame or bitterness, only truth. And the lesson she leaves them with is always the same. Your love is not a ladder for someone else to climb. Your sacrifice is not a down payment on someone's gratitude. You deserve to be chosen, not tolerated, not used, not made to wait forever. And if someone shows you they will sacrifice you the moment something better comes along, believe them. Then rebuild so completely, so quietly, so powerfully, that when they return with regret in their hands, you can smile and say, no thank you. I have already upgraded.